Turn the page, live your life every day. Don't let anybody stand in your way.
All right, what have we got here? As you could tell from the intro, it's the 16th episode of Whatcha Reading, Mike. Hey, how you guys doing? Today I'm going to go over a few books that I've been reading. I've been reading a lot. I haven't done an episode of this in a while, so even though I'm only going to show you 5 books I've been reading, I probably have read 50 since last time we've done this. I try to read a book plus each week. I'm up to about 6 to 8, depending on the size and my time, a month. And I think that reading is the greatest thing in the world. As you can tell, not only do I like to read, I like to collect the books, but it just makes me feel comfy and cozy. So we're going to do a little different this time. We're going to explore the area. And so this is my sports area right here. These are all sports books. Quite a few. And I read a book called Centerfield on Fire. And this is by a former Major League umpire, Dave Phillips. So this is a great book I read. It's a little older. Dave Phillips retired several years ago. But I think that it's interesting to read about being an umpire. It's interesting to read about all walks of life, and I think that you should. Stay curious. In fact, there's a great book I read. It's about staying curious by, he's one of the producers of a lot of Ron Howard films. I'll get his name later if you need it. But and I did a review of his in one of my Whatcha Reading. So this is the life and times of an umpire back when he started in the 60s, 70s, 80s. He went all the way to the early 2000s. Then he retired. He was an umpire that back in the day when there was a lot of brouhahas, and he has interesting stories about some of the colorful managers like Earl Weaver and Tommy Lasorda and guys like that. Now, Centerfield on Fire, you say, what does that mean? Well, there was Bill Veeck was an owner of the Chicago White Sox back in the 70s, and this was during disco, and this was right at the end of disco, that music, if you young kids look it up. And they had a disco, I guess a disco burning party. They were going to take a whole bunch of disco records. They told the fans to come in, bring all your disco records in, and at the end of the game, we're going to put a big pile in the middle of the outfield and start a fire. Well, it didn't work out that well. Centerfield on Fire, what happened, he was the umpire that night. They started flinging all the records during the game. They had to suspend the game, and then they almost lit the whole stadium on fire. I can laugh at it now because no one got hurt, or no one died. Somebody probably had to get hurt. But that's some of the antics that Dave Phillips talks about with this good book, Centerfield on Fire. What else you reading, Mike? Let's see over here. What do we got over here? Let's see. Oh, here's one. Hungry Monkey. Now, I love monkeys. And Hungry Monkey is a great story. It's a food-loving father's quest to raise an adventurous eater. This is by Matthew Amster Burton. This was a really fun book. What's the fun thing? So this is, Matthew was a chef he lived in Seattle area. And him and his wife had a kid, a little girl. Her name was, let's see what her name was, because she had an adult name. What's her name? Her name was Iris, and she was a precocious little girl. She was a hungry monkey for sure. She liked to eat. But not just that, she didn't eat kids' food, even when she was like a few months old. Once she started eating solids, they decided to try to feed her adult food in small dosages that she could chew. And then didn't add meat until, she had enough teeth to chew it. And she devoured it, and she loved it. And this is it's a story about a very curious young child who tried whatever their parents put in front of her, and she ate it, and she loved it. And then there's lots of recipes in here, too, for the type of foods that kids will eat and will not eat. She didn't eat everything, but it's a very well-written semi-memoir and the trials and tribulations of raising a kid, especially one that likes to eat, especially a hungry monkey. I recommend this. This is a Very good book. So I'm doing all nonfiction today, by the way. Let's see what we got next. Here's one. This is an old one. This is from Milton Berle. Now this is my humor section. These are all humor. So I have sports, I have humor, and then I have war and army, military, and then I have history. I have lots of political. We won't show you what those are. And then over here, this is more. This is all fiction, nonfiction. I have lots of memoirs and bios. You can see just shelves and shelves of them. And it's always good to read about folks like that, because if they're successful, they can give you some tips on how to be successful. Have lots of space here, and then we finish off all these, and then we go into the fiction right there. But right now we're talking about Milton Berle, Uncle Milty, as he was called. Yeah, look at that guy. And this is a book called Milton Berle, B.S. We're all adults here. I love you. And it's mostly, it's 60 funny years with the famous and the infamous. It's part memoir, but also it's mostly about how they how they created the Friars Club. It was a famous club that was created in New York, in Manhattan. And it was a club where comedians and funny people and lots of celebrities went, and they got roasted. Now you can Google that, watch it on YouTube. But back in the day, they would roast. You'd have a person, the roastee. They would sit there, and then all of their friends, quote friends, would come in there and tell the filthiest jokes about him, just nail him. And Milton for years was sorry Milton, I'm picking your nose. Milton for years was the master of ceremonies. And they actually took that Friars Club all the way out to Los Angeles. And Milton has lots of tales, lots of interesting, funny stories about the Friars Club and about comedy and about show business. So Milton Berle, B.S. I love you. He was Uncle Milty. Again, if you don't know who he was one of the first big stars on television back in the 50s. Good book. Interesting. All right, let's go over here. There's more of the, this part of my, so I have this nice little corner here too. As you can see, books there. And then this is a nice corner. These are all encased, but this one's called, open this up. Hold on, let's get this open. This is my James Patterson collection. That guy's written a lot of books, hasn't he? This is by James Patterson with Matt Eversman, who's First Sergeant, U.S. Army. It's called A Walk in My Combat Boots. Now, if you're interested in military history, and not only that, what human participation in the armed services, Walk in My Combat Boots, Walk in My Combat Boots is a great story. It's individual vignettes by, different people. It's edited mostly by James. I don't think he did a lot of writing, but he would interview these people and then write about them, and they talk about all the different things that happened to them in all different times of the service, not just the recent conflicts we've had, military endeavors, but back in the early world wars and Vietnam, and a lot of it is what a person goes through, and you would have no idea what that's like unless you actually did it or were able to read about it from their point of view. And I've always been fascinated about things like this because it gives you some insight into PTSD and what these folks do for us to protect our freedoms, and also what they go through when they get back home. And the ordeals, and we need to treat our veterans, and we need to treat our elderly, and we need to treat everybody as the best we can, kindness, etc. But especially the veterans, because a lot of times they've sacrificed the majority of their lives and every part of their psyche, and a lot of them are suffering. So just gives you some insight into a lot of that. It's a good book. Read it. And the last one is we go to the comedy section again over here, humor section. And I wanted to, every time I do a review, I talk about people that, and books that I thought were pretty good. Now we're going to talk about Lewis Grizzard. I'd say the best part about this book was the title. It's called Don't Bend Over in the Garden, Granny. You know them taters got eyes. And that attracted me to the book because that's pretty funny. And I said, this is going to be pretty funny. I like to read a lot of humorous writers, like a Kinky Friedman or a Christopher Buckley or a David Sedaris, someone who writes well, but with a really sharp sense of humor. Lewis is more kind of down south, kind of, not being derogatory, but kind of, hillbilly humor. And he was very popular. He was a writer. I think it was in Atlanta. He had a very successful life for a few years, but he had a very tragic life. He had heart issues, and he died only in his early 40s while having heart surgery. So that's a tough part about that. But in terms of this, he was popular. I mean, he made a lot of money, and he sold a lot of books, and a lot of people followed him. This is actually a book about sex, actually, believe it or not, because I guess you couldn't get that from the title, but that's what it's about, and he explains it. And it's about, the mores and the things that he found humorous growing up, and also, looking at society through the mid-1980s eyes of Lewis Grizzard. And of all the books I've reviewed, especially in this whole series, but especially today, this is one I would say, depends on what type of sense of humor you have, you might enjoy it. If not, read all those other books. And check out, I said this is the 16th, I've been doing this for over 10 years, the 16th episode of Whatcha Reading. And I love doing it because I read. I mean, I could do one of these once a month if I had to. If there was a clamor for it, I know some of you guys would like that, but most of you want to see all kinds of different things. But let me know what you're reading, and check out the rest of Live Life 365. I'm all over the socials, and especially at YouTube. And keep living life 365. Till next time, peace.
Live life 365.
And then what I like to do is sit down because I can't stand this whole time. I got a bad ankle that probably needs surgery, but that's another story. Her name was... So what is next, Miguelito?